Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first edition of Major Things. Um, it's the first time that we're trying this out. Normally, we're very used to meeting up in Zoom or having calls in Teams, but now it's the first time that we're actually doing a live stream. So please bear with us if there's any technical issues or something like that. My name is Robert Johnson Queers. I'm an artist and filmmaker, and also one of your moderators for tonight. But tonight is not about me. Tonight is about the work of the third year students at the Willem de Koning Academy. For the last 3 months or so, they've been tasked with making a self-initiated project. And this could be anything that they really wanted to make. So think video games or VR experiences or short films. As long as it was something that was useful for their own, for themselves, as they're slowly trying to become themselves as makers. So we really asked them to make something that they could use for their portfolio, so they could show around on their website. Some people made really bold and experimental films, while others made smaller, more introspective experiences. But everyone had one thing in common. They have all had to make their work during these really strange times, quarantining. There was sort of this lack of connection between classmates, but also the tutors were constantly throwing existential questions their way about who do you think you are, what do you want to be, all of these really big questions. So. No matter the size of or the scope of their projects, no matter how big and ambitious or how small and introspective, I feel like all of them made some really major things during these last 3 months. Today we'll be watching just a few of the films. Today we're mostly going to be focusing on trailers, teasers, and everything in between. What makes a good trailer? What do you put in and what do you leave out? Is there such a thing like a secret formula when it comes to trailers? We'll be showing 4 films in total, or 4 trailers in total, and we'll also be having an opportunity to talk with the makers afterwards, get to know them, ask some questions, and hopefully learn a little bit about their process. So hope you enjoy, and we hope you stick around until the very end.
Where is it? Where is it? No, where is it? Oh, no, not this one. Oh, not this one. Not this one either. Sven, come here and bring your backpack. Huh, found it. Let's see. I don't have much time, I'm afraid. Now listen carefully, Sven. Find a girl named Naya. Guide her. Make sure she stays safe. Don't worry about me, Sven. Go now. Quick. May you restore balance, Naya.
Hi, I'm Mark,
And I'm Thomas.
and I'm the character designer of Aya and Swin for our latest project Tome, and I did the background designs and the final edit.
I'm the character designer of the Keeper of the Tome, and I'm the animator of the character animation.
So our latest project Tome, I think I speak for the both of us if I say we had a lot of fun during this project, but also it was very stressful.
It was stressful. We had a animation planned out for 30 seconds, and that became an animation of 1 minute and 30 seconds, even longer. So yeah, that was basically thanks to changing up the story, right?
Yeah, so the story, we revisited it 3 times. The problem with our story was that we basically didn't really know what our story was about, so we changed it. After that, we didn't really feel like the jam. It wasn't going well. It felt
The flow wasn't there. In order to make our animation flow better, we had to leave out our main character named Aya.
Yeah, so I think we both think that Aya was the solely reason why the animation was not flowing that well. We had too many characters that were introduced and interact with each other. We had too many stories to tell in just 1.5 minutes, and I think we did good with leaving Aya out. And I think in the end, it was a better end result.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was responsible for the background designs. I think what I could have done better is the background designs don't tell that much about the situation the characters are in. I think the inside of the home of the keeper could have been way more personal. You just see books, but also books can tell something more about a character. But in this case, they don't. I think I could have explored more, but I think that also has to do that we didn't have the time to explore our characters to the fullest, which is a shame. But it's something I take to my next project as a background designer or character designer to really. They have to complement each other, and they don't really do that in this particular animation.
So, I'm the animator, and I was responsible for the movement of the characters. During this project, I learned a lot of how the animation works and how to work in 2D, and to work on a scale like this big. There was the challenge. It was fun, sometimes challenging to get the scenes ready in time. So it was important to be consistent, to be on a time schedule. But overall, the experience let me grow and gave me an insight into how a project like this can work out and how you actually animate 2D animation. I've never done that before, so it was fun.
So nonetheless, the circumstances were not great. We had a lot of hardships, but I think we were both proud of what we have achieved in just 3 months, from start to finish, from the first sketch of Aya to the full-fledged animation, with some great music we forgot to mention by David Hahn. He did an excellent job on the music, and he really brought it to life.
It was really, really fun to work together on a project like this, on a scale like this also. It was planned out to be 30 seconds. It came longer. In 3 months' time, during a time that is very strange, working from home, from our desks, working with the webcams. It was strange, but it was fun. We learned a lot, and we definitely will bring out all the things we learned to the next projects we will probably make together in the future.
So we hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, and who knows? Till next time.
Till next time, yes.
Hi, my name is Ioana, and together with my classmate Jasmine, we're going to talk to you a bit about our collaborative project from the last semester. What we made is a teaser trailer for what would be a narrative animated short. A bit about myself: I am a visual storyteller and 2D animator. I like to create characters that are relatable and feel like they could be real people, and I like to depict both their big existential problems as well as their day-to-day life. I feel like both are really important for the audience to really connect to your story. From my perspective, this project is important to me because it was the first time we really got free rein to do pretty much whatever we wanted in a project, and I wanted to create something that speaks both about my work and my art direction, as well as my personal interests and fascinations both in the world of art and just in life in general. So the story I created is called Naya and B, and I'm going to read to you the logline and the synopsis. A story of hardship and ease. A girl reunites with the ghost of her late best friend. As they draw close once more, they learn how to embrace what they cannot change and together grow as they go. Naya and B had been best friends for as long as Naya remembers, but their relationship has not been the same as of late. Nothing has. It has felt one-sided, with Naya religiously bringing B flowers, candles, and incense sticks. If only she were alive to actually see them. Miraculously, their late friendship starts to rekindle, B materializing next to Naya on one of the visits to her grave. Though B has no recollection of her past life, she is eager to get close to Naya again and unveil the mystery of their life together and her best friend's current odd behavior. My role during this project was to oversee pre-production, with my biggest input being in concept creation and development, as well as storyboarding. Here are some of the background designs I made. I also was part of production and post-production, namely I did some animation, I did some coloring, and I did compositing at the end.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Wijnsouw and I'm a 2D character animator and I specialize in 2D hand-drawn animation. I'm interested in the behavior, feelings, and stories of beings, and I see character in those and try to translate that to my own animations. And although I might not relate to a character I'm working with at all, I still find it interesting to explore who or what they are. Furthermore, I personally think that I have an eye for detail, which I can apply to the characters as well. For the teaser project of Naya B, I collaborated with Ioana, and I helped her visualizing her story in 2D hand-drawn moving images. And my personal learning goals for this project was to work with subtle movements and focus on feelings, meaning I want to look at the details of characters and look at the details of their body language and their interaction with each other. My main role was animating, but I assisted in storyboarding as well, by sketching thumbnails, sharing ideas, and asking questions to Ioana about the story. I also worked on model sheets and the drawing style of the characters. It was interesting to think of what will be fairly easy to animate, because of the time that we had, for animating, which was a month. But I still wanted to keep it true to the character designs. I also suggested to work solo on animatic, to balance the work with Ioana, who was working on the backgrounds during that time. And I also wanted to individually think how to design the movement in the teaser. We had quite some challenges as well. For example, the time we had for this project was quite limited, which was roughly 3 months for the pre-production, production and post-production. And we had other work to do next to it as well, which was a bit trickier planning-wise. So we had to prioritize some things over the other, and we had to be flexible as well. Our production time was was roughly a month for animating, which was pressuring with the number of shots we had. Thus, we made a decision to drop some shots to make it a presentable result.
So without further ado, here's our teaser trailer.
maybe you want to look at the visuals at your own pace, or maybe you want to look more into us as artists, we have a hot glue page where you can find it back. The hot glue page also provides links to our social media and websites, so you can check that out as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Groot. I'm an animator and illustrator with a game-oriented background. I aspire to become a visual development artist and a 3D animator for video games and short animation films. I will be telling you a bit about my animation message set that I created in 3 months at the Willem de Koning Academy, of course. At the start of this project I had an idea of what the essence of the story should be. It should be about being unable to reach your loved ones, loneliness, desperation, and eventually acceptation. I'm a huge space lover. There's just something about looking at other planets that creates this strange sense of homesickness and wanderlust. Something that a lot of us probably feel when we look at pictures of the beautiful rolling hills in Italy or the white cliffs of England, or maybe also space like myself. These topics inspired me to start creating style frames and concept art for this project. The art reflected his challenges or moments he realized how much he missed home. Throughout the animation, the protagonist gradually becomes aware that he won't make it, in one way or another really. Eventually his journey is not so much for himself, but more for the people he loves, and somewhere within him he secretly hopes that he will see them again. At the start of this project I was really doubting whether or not I should make this in 3D. I had some 3D skills, but I wasn't very sure about myself. However, I decided to just do it because I'm not gonna say I can do that because I'm not good enough. You bet your butt I can do that, even if it would turn out not so great. I'll work hard and try to learn as much as possible. I just really wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to transfer the atmosphere of my 2D style frames and images into a 3D world. I would like to thank you for listening to my talk about my project message sent, and without further ado, here's the final animation.
Hi everyone! My name is Imogen Tholenaars and I am a 2D background designer with an interest in making environment concept art. For this project, I did everything. I started out with writing the story and history of Vicar Manor, where the game takes place, and that of the Vicar family, the inhabitants of the house. Then I searched for inspiration wherever I could find it, like abandoned building exploration, stage performances, and haunted house attractions. Fantôme Manor in Disneyland Paris was my main inspiration, hence the name Le Fantôme Ludique, which means playful ghost. It's a little homage to the Phantom Manor.
You may not believe it, but beauty once lived in this house. Fantôme Manor a connu des jours heureux.
When it was time to start production, the project started out as a short film, but after some feedback sessions with my teachers, I realized the best way to tell the story of the Vicar family would be through an interactive experience. And as the style I had chosen for the project already felt reminiscent of a point-and-click game from the 90s, the choice was easily made. Due to deadlines, the project became a proposal for a point-and-click game instead. This meant I had to animate everything you see in the trailer, like the moving and clicking of the mouse as well as all the other effects. I painted and animated everything in Procreate and did the final editing in iMovie. The project really came together when it was time to move on to sound design. The little sound effects and of course the overarching music was the key to making these separate animations into a trailer. The goal of my project was to tell the story through environments only. I wanted to take this time to improve my background making skills, as this is something I really want to pursue in the future. Some challenges I had along the way were of course the working from home situation, as well as finding enough time to deliver a finished product, but to have it be extensive enough to have people interested. Overall, I would say I'm quite pleased with the outcome, so without further ado, here is the trailer for Le Fantôme Ludique.
All right. So those were the films, or the trailers, I should say. Um, I hope you enjoyed them. We will be having a little chat with the makers. Uh, okay, so is it working? Yeah. So this is everyone. Um, Hi. Can everyone just briefly introduce themselves, perhaps? Bound. Maybe you can start. Right. Oh, um, seems like people don't hear. Okay, could you?
Oh,
Okay, we're having some audio issues. Could you say something and then we can see chat is able to
yes.
hear?
Yeah, I'm still speaking, so I guess the question is whether people in the YouTube chat can confirm that they can hear me, or I'm not seeing.
And we're also experiencing some lag. I'm reading. Now we can hear. Okay.
Okay. So you guys missed all the good stuff, of course. Okay, but now I know what I'm going to say. So I guess the question was for me to introduce myself. I'm Jonathan's colleague teaching at the Willem de Koning Academy, and together with Jonathan, I coached this group of students and the students that we'll see in the coming days in making I think the assignment was making an animation-related project in 3 months. And I think we emphasized finding your own strengths and working towards, really building on your strengths and the things you enjoy doing most to get the most out of these 3 months. And I think most of these projects show that there's a lot you can do in 3 months. So.
Yeah, totally. So I have a question for everyone to begin with. So we've just been looking at a bunch of trailers. When can we expect these projects, or are these all sort of like fictitious projects that you just made for Major 3.1? Who wants to start with that one?
I can start.
Sure.
So I think our project is fictive for now, at least, but we went into the process by developing this idea in general as if it were the full-length film, and we did that. It would be a short film if it were to be a full thing, and we did that in order to manage to see what the most important parts would be to actually include in a trailer, instead of just making a trailer and that being it. I felt like it wouldn't have the same subtext, and like it wouldn't feel like it's more if it was just that. I'm not sure anybody can hear me though. I never realized.
I think people can hear you. I think people are just saying that the screen is a little bit laggy. I feel like because there's a lot happening on the screen. What about you, Thomas and Mark? What about your project? Is it going to happen one day, or is it still sort of like a fictitious project?
Well, I hope it's gonna happen one day, but I think for now it's a bit fictitious. We'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see where our interests go.
Of course, it's gonna happen, man. No, we don't know. We don't know. It's fictive for now, but who knows in the future? If we are able to pitch it to some big guys in the networks out there, we might be able to. But that's uncertain for now. But who knows?
Cool. Imogen?
When I made it, it definitely started out as a fictional thing because I have zero competence in actually making games. But I did choose game design for my minor, so who knows? Maybe when I actually have some knowledge on making games.
Maybe one day, yeah.
Maybe one day, a passion project in like 50 years, who knows? Hopefully.
Yeah. And Danny, what about you?
Yes, well, this video is already sort of done, I think, as a short, but I'm thinking about making a sequel to that. Now I'm mostly working in Blender, and for this project I worked entirely in Maya. But Blender has improved a lot, so I can't wait to make the sequel in Blender.
Yeah, because you had a sort of like an interesting story, right? Because you started your project off as a trailer, but then you sort of like shifted it towards like a short film. Why did this change happen?
I believe it was either you or Baron that said, why not make it a short film instead of a trailer? And I was like, good point. I will just do that because it doesn't have to be like this very long film. It can be compact because it's, yeah, also there's no voiceover. It's just these two, or well, this character. So it doesn't need to be that long. And yeah, I think it's the perfect size for this story.
Right, right. And what's for you, what is like the biggest difference between like working on a short film versus a trailer?
Oh man. Yeah, I think it's more the structure that it would be more intense. This short film was more a slow burner. Like I really like Blade Runner, and that is like a very long film, and it has this slow atmosphere. It's just the pacing that's very slow, and I think that wouldn't work that well for a trailer. So yeah, I want to keep that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another general question for all of you, like, do you guys watch a lot of trailers, or have you sort of like analyzed trailers in order to own, or how did you sort of like make work on your own trailer? How do you know what doesn't, or how do you decide what you put in and what you sort of don't put in?
There was definitely a research phase, which was just watching everything. I personally watch a lot of Hollywood trailers to see what makes a Hollywood trailer, and then I basically took everything they do and didn't do that. Because they're all super flashy and super dramatic in a very like like short-term victory, short-term wow type way, which really was like the opposite of what me and Jasmine were trying to do.
Right.
So,
like it was like most trailers have like that thing of having jokes and having that climax moment, like flashy stuff, what Ioana said. And our story didn't have that at all, like those flashy stuff. And maybe there are some jokes in the longer version, but it's not like we wanted that in the trailer. What also was a difficult point was for us to like, those trailers on its own don't have to make sense, but we wanted to make a bit more sense of it, like putting it into face of the whole story of what you can expect.
Yeah. And Imogen, how was it for you? Because is there a difference between like making a film trailer and making like a trailer for a video game?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it did start out as a film at first, so I wrote the entire scenario and kind of the big story components. But I think what changed very much when you're making the trailer is that now I had to make it exciting to play rather than, oh, I really want to see this movie and be a passive onlooker, rather than, oh, I want to live in this world and find out what happened. So I feel like I had to make my frames and my what I showed on screen to be less in your face, because I had some stills in there that were very much giving away parts of the plot. And I thought there's a scene in the kitchen, and I thought, oh, I should dim the lights instead of have it be full blown in your face, because then people would want to find out what's there. So yeah, definitely there's a big difference, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and also in your trailer we see like the mouse is also sort of like this character almost, right? It seems as if we're playing the video game. How did you sort of like think about doing that, or sort of like the actions that the mouse would make?
I think the initial big thing came from you, because you said when I showed the very first piece that I made was the fireplace lighting on fire. And I think you said, oh, it would be fun if you would actually interact with that and see it ignite because someone clicked on it. So from that point forward, I thought, okay, the pieces that I really want to show, like the portrait of the girl and revealing a space by having someone press the flashlight, those were very important components for me, because it really felt like you were interacting with the space rather than just following the basic storyline and doing some random stuff also.
Yeah. Baran, do we have any questions in the chat so far?
Yeah, no, I think, and I think that's a really, I don't know who, number 7 is the name. Asked before, specifically, I think about Naya and B, what was the inspiration for the storyline of Naya and B? So I guess Ioana?
There's no like one big thing, but I was inspired by a lot of films that have to do with like bittersweet romance and like a more realistic take on like the manic pixie dream girl situation. And then I was also inspired by the music of Mother Mother and by games that have like a very pretty aesthetic and like kind of like a nostalgic vibe to them, but they can have like a darker side to them, like Night in the Woods or Sally Face or stuff like that, for example.
It's also a little bit of a video game type of inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I took all the media that I kind of felt like I could relate in some way, and I did a bit of more in-depth research because, you know, when you consume media, you just kind of like, you know, consume it instead of critically analyzing it. So I just looked into the things I already related to this idea I had, and so what came out of it, basically.
Yeah.
But tagging on to that, because I made a quick note of you saying, you know, you would, in your inspiration, in your sort of explanation, you said you would like to develop characters that could be real people. So then the question comes up, what for you is the main reason why this project would be animation and not, let's say, live action? What do you feel animation brings to it? It's not a trick question.
It is a trick question Jonathan has already asked, so I'm prepared. I guess maybe the biggest reason for choosing animation, and also for a lot of the aesthetic elements in our trailers, such as like not having camera movements and having like the more comic booky panel distribution. That was because I wanted it to feel like a closed, flat story in some sense, and I wanted this to still to be relatable and feel like they could be real people, but still be loose and frayed enough around the edges, so a lot more people could relate to them or find themselves in them. And because the film touches on like a bunch of touchy topics, I feel like animation is a good filter for it, in which you take in what I give you, but you kind of take it with a grain of salt, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. Mark and Thomas, maybe this is also good as a general question, because we have like 2 groups that we're talking to now as well, 2 people that collaborated. What was that like? What was sort of like working together? What are the benefits of working together versus working by yourself?
You can divide the tasks. Especially during the pandemic, I think it's very fun to have someone around to talk to. Together, you come up with totally different ideas than on your own, and you have this infinite loop of feedback with each other. I think that's very beneficial for the project.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely working together on something to figure out how to change the story to another big new idea, or when you are coping with problems in the project or in private, you can talk about it together. You can work around it. You can change the schedule to fix the delay you had, and you can work on the story together. So you're not on your own, and you're not stuck in your mind the whole time trying to figure it out by yourself. You can talk about it with your mate working on a project like this.
Mhm.
So that's one of the benefits of working together.
Yeah. And did you both also from the beginning agree like we're gonna make a trailer or we're gonna make a teaser?
Yeah,
We did agree, but of course, especially in the beginning, you have these things like you both want different things, and you're trying to make compromises. And yeah, we did agree on a teaser trailer in the end.
Yeah, we both wanted to make a teaser trailer, but in the beginning, you have your own vision of some ideas you have, and you have to figure out a way how to combine it in just one idea. So, and sometimes that's difficult. That's maybe the thing of working together. You have to figure out a way to make something that is the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah. What I found interesting about your project is you made a really lovely poster, and there's like a character on it that doesn't appear in the trailer. How come, like, or how do you even like make a trailer without like showing the main character?
Well, the trailer was supposed to. It's supposed to be more like a prologue for the bigger series where our actual main character comes in. Yeah. So we thought about, okay, so the prologue is our prologue. It's the teaser trailer. It's the introduction to our series. But on the poster, we want our main character, the face of the series itself. And we did try to implement her in the trailer, but we only have 1.5 minutes of animation time and time to tell a story. And with introducing our main character, within those 1.5 minutes, it was just too much to tell. The story was becoming really. It was really hard at some point to understand what was actually going on. So that's why we left our main character out. Also, so that Swin, the pig, and the keeper had some more bonding time and some more character development in those 1.5 minutes. So it was basically for balance that we left her out and decided to do it like this.
Yeah. Balance. Any questions?
No, well, there's two questions that I feel could almost be folded into one. Number 7 again asks sort of what was the hardest part of the process and what was the most fun. But then there's also a question about what would be the advice you would give yourself, your past self in a way. If you could go back to September and give yourself advice. I think that those in a way tie in. So maybe that would be a good round to have everyone sort of give themselves advice for half a year ago.
Well, during our project, for me at least, the hardest part was sticking true to the planning and keeping track of the time. I am a person that easily gets lost in time. I forget how long I'm working on a shot, or forget on how long I'm trying to figure out how that line must be going throughout the animation. And that was a learning curve I had to learn on the hard way.
And what advice would you have for yourself or for anyone trying to, embarking on a project like this?
Set a timer every 20 minutes, 10 minutes. You have to keep going. You have to speed it up. Set a timer. Make sure you make that deadline. Otherwise, you will get behind on schedule, and that will create trouble in the future of your project. So you have to set a timer and keep track on your time. That's one of the important things I learned during the project.
Okay, and Mark?
Yeah, well, basically the same. It's all about time. Like, it's all fun when you have 12 weeks before the deadline and you're like, we can do, we have so much time, we can take it easy. And then you only have 3 weeks and you're not even halfway where you wanted it to be. So it's all about just keep track of time, because you only cut your own fingers in the end, and the unnecessary stress, unnecessary problems. So yeah, good planning. That's my advice.
Yeah, what about the rest, like Danny, for instance?
Yeah, I agree with Thomas and Mark. I didn't struggle as much with planning, but I did really struggle with storyboarding a lot, because I'm not really a story artist or a storyboarder, so I felt a bit uncomfortable doing that. I didn't really know which direction I would take it, because I wanted to make a trailer at the start. So yeah, my advice for myself back then would be just do it, like make a lot of drafts, just make more different versions, and don't be afraid and don't be too hard on yourself.
Great advice. Imogen?
Oh, for sure, research colors and research lighting. I'm working on it right now, and it hurts looking back at that trailer already, because my colors are all over the place, and now I'm starting to understand that I understood the whole concept, but I never had a good grasp on what colors work together well, or what colors make something unsettling. So yeah, for sure, do your color research, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the teacher in me wants to ask, because obviously you're in the middle of that process now. Do you think that you're in a better position to do that research now than you were in September?
Yeah, I think so. I think working from home was still, even though we've been doing it since March, that was a bit of a hurdle. And then now I also have the time, especially when we had the plus weeks in January, I had loads of time to look up color theory and stuff. And now that I'm doing my internship, I get taught about it too. So yeah, for sure.
But I mean, sorry to interrupt you. What I was sort of hinting at, and I may be totally off there, but I mean, at least for us as teachers, it's a nice idea that maybe going through this project, making this project, puts you in a better position to understand the importance of that research.
For sure.
Obviously,
making mistakes is good, kids, because you can learn from it. Yes, for sure.
That's what I want to hear.
Yes.
I also have a very specific question for Ioana and Jasmine about because there's you have like this hot glue page with a lot of information about the characters and the story. Like there's even something as specific as like be like strawberry shaped gummies. Why was it important for you to know all of these things if you knew you were going to just make a trailer?
I think this just ties into what I said before. I felt like if it's a lot more genuine. It feels more like a genuine character if I make an actual fully fleshed out character and then present them in a few words, than to just only have those few words about this character and just say that. I feel like even if I said the same exact things I did now, but without any like context in my own head for them, it would still feel like disingenuous or more fake.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Was it the same for you, Jasmine? Of like knowing these tiny sort of like intricacies helped you with sort of like bringing these characters to life?
I personally really like that Ioana told more about those details, because personally as a character animator, I like to think about the characters, how they are if they were real people. And it all adds to their body language as well. So every decision I make with animating them, I think about those details as well, like how to react and how to interact. And I also asked Ioana some questions about if was this decided for this character, was this decided for this character? And even things like nationality and stuff, even though it wasn't like important for the animation, I personally really like to know that about the characters.
Yeah. And there's also something, you're using this very explicit but very interesting of like visual language in your trailer with all of the panels and the split screen and stuff like that. How did a choice like that happen? How was that made? How was that choice made?
I think Jasmine can tell more about like the animation part of it, but basically that was one of the things that actually made us want to work together, because we were just discussing our ideas, and I said, oh, I want something with a lot of constrictive panels so you can zoom in a lot and have a lot of attention to details. And Jasmine had been looking to animate attention to details, so it kind of clicked like that.
Yeah. Had you seen each other's work before, or was this also the first time for you, like seeing each other's trailers?
I think we have all snooped on my profile.
Okay. Yeah. What do you like? If you look at each other's trailers, would you go watch each other's work? Is it like compelling for you to wanna? Are you intrigued?
Yeah, definitely. It's super cool to see your fellow students, your fellow classmates to make such cool projects in such a short time, and then see the final products in the end. Yeah, that's super cool to see everyone's work, and it's also rewarding. Everyone is working very hard during that time, and then you can see, yeah, the projects everyone worked very hard on, and then you can enjoy it in the end. And this time it was a bit strange. We didn't see it in class. We had to see it online, and during such such things as like the stream right now, it's super cool to see it again, and it gave me goosebumps. So yeah, it was very cool.
I think it's also super satisfying that like the more I work with my classmates, the more this like it stops feeling like my classmates' work, and it feels more like, oh, another professional's work, which is insane to think about. And it just makes me super proud of everyone, really.
Yeah. I think we might have time for one more question if there's one in the chat. Balance. Or do we not have?
Oh yeah, I'm not muted anymore. Maybe. Well, I squeezed two questions into one, but not everyone answered it. But maybe, I guess maybe if we're also doing it as a last question, then, what was the most fun about doing this project would be maybe a good note to end on. So, Danny, let's start with you.
Well, I thought it was just very cool that we could do our own things and really explore like fully and freely during this project. And that really made me able to reflect on what I really like to do and where I can see myself in the future, or what I would personally pick to do. And that gave me a lot of clarity about my position as well. So
you're saying through working on this project, it made you much more clear about what parts of the project you enjoy and where you want to develop in the future.
Totally, yeah.
Imogen, or?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Danny to get a project for, I think, the first time in 3 years where we got complete freedom as long as it was something even closely related to animation. And I discovered last year that I really wanted to become a background designer. So I was doing that in my spare time, and then to get a project where I can only make backgrounds is awesome. I don't think I'll ever get that opportunity again.
That's a depressing thought, though. Why would you say that?
No, but I mean, of course, I'll get the opportunity again to work with other people and to work together in a group, and then to have me do all the backgrounds or together with other people. But I don't think I'm gonna get the opportunity to make an entire project by myself and only have backgrounds. That's what I meant. To not end on a depressing note, Barend, especially for you. No, I will make loads of backgrounds in the future. Don't worry, all by myself.
Ioana and Jasmine, what was the most fun part?
I forgot what we were saying, sorry. I agree that like just the satisfaction of working on whatever you want was amazing. But just for a change of pace, I would say another very satisfying moment was compositing, because as me and Jasmine worked separately and we didn't really, because usually we would work in school and we just peek over each other's shoulder, but now we really didn't we didn't really get to just watch each other work. So finally just putting all our work together and seeing it actually click, oh, that was so good. I was afraid. It was great. I was happy in the end.
Is it the same for you, Jasmine?
Yeah, quite the same actually. Mostly in that, indeed, like the satisfying part of it all coming together. But yeah, it already has been said. But I really like how like you could design your own project, and I personally really like working together with people. I initially wanted to work alone on my own stuff, like making maybe a short film. But I really like that Ioana had like the same direction that I wanted to go with. So I'm really happy that I got to work together with someone and with Ioana. So yeah.
Yeah. And lastly, Mark and Thomas. What was the most fun part for you?
Well, the freedom. For me personally, what I really liked was the collaboration with the composer. It was very fascinating to see that how he came up with soundtracks, what his thought process behind the entire deal was, and to see that all come together, the soundtrack, the animation, in the end was very satisfying. So that was the most fun part for me, the composers, working with the composer, the collaboration.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah.
For me, it was creating the story from the beginning till the end, to see the finished product. I had a lot of fun things during this project. Animating, that's why I want to become an animator. So learning all that stuff about how to design a character, make it ready for the animation. All those steps. And eventually the finished product. Seeing it final, seeing the credits roll at the end. That's one of the moments that I'm proud of. And working together, that's also fun. And during this time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Lots of great things. Lastly, where or how can people find you? Do you have Instagrams or websites or anything? Plug time.
You can find me on Instagram. Maybe in the future on YouTube. I'm currently on an internship working with that, so my work will be soon online. That is still a secret. So it's for now. It's Instagram.
What's your Instagram?
It's my name Thomas, and then my surname Marquart.
Cool. Mark, where can we find you?
Well, I'm terrible with social media, so I don't have Instagram and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But I have my own website, mark.schutte myportfolio.com, and soon my work will also be featuring on Frame Order, its YouTube channel.
Nice.
I'll work on the videos.
Very cool. Jasmine?
In our video, we also had like the little title screen with the hot glue page that we shared, so you can find both of us there. It includes our Instagram and our websites, and also for more professional people, I guess, LinkedIn. And yeah, you can find us there.
Cool. Imogen?
I have an Instagram and a website and a LinkedIn, but I think my Instagram is updated most frequently. It's my first name and my middle name, so it's Imogen Murren, but you can find that through the Instagram page of Major Things. I think that's easier.
Right. Danny, do you have a website or Instagram?
Yes, both. My website is dannygroot.nl, and Groot as in Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. And my Instagram is Grote Danny, but Groot with an E and then Danny. So that's a word joke.
Cool. And then lastly, Ioana, where can people find you?
Jasmine, I had a very big brain idea, which is to visit our hot glue page because I do not want to spell my Instagram page out. So yes, please go to the hot glue page. That has all the links in it.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for being here, for sharing your process with everyone, and also being part of the first day of the Major Things live stream. I'll just close this off. Let me go to this camera. So yeah, just like Imogen already said, we have you'll be able to check the Instagram if you want to have more information about each project. There's there's like posters, there's like more concept art for each artist. You can also find their handles on the posts. You will be able to watch this event back, hopefully with some less lag. Again, first time doing this, so we're still like trying to figure things out. But you'll be able to look it back later if you want to do so. So tomorrow we have another program, slightly less films and slightly less or fewer makers as well, but it's going to be all about personal films. How do you tell personal stories? How do you make personal films? How do you put all of that sort of like, how do you unpack yourself and sort of like translate that into a short film? That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Keep the Instagram, keep that in mind. Check it out to see if you want to see the schedule and read a little bit more about the actual films that will be shown. And yeah, we hope you learned a little bit, and we hope you tune in again tomorrow. All right, this was the Major Things live stream. All right, bye bye guys.